older sister, and my younger sister is in my mom's tummy at this point. So, and this is something very unique to a birthday table, which is a steamed octopus. I was born in a tiny island in south of South Korea. So, hi Paul, hi friends, thanks for joining. So, when you see tropical fruits, which is not common in South Korea, when you see a lot of like rice cakes and all the special candies, you know it's a party in Korea. So, I was born and raised there. And like Courtney said, I wear many different hats. I serve as an executive director at International Center of West Lafayette. It's a nonprofit based on Purdue campus, but we're not affiliated. We support a lot of peripheral family members of Purdue, so spouses that come with visiting scholars from any other countries outside of the US. We offer free English classes where people can freely just join and practice their English, meet another community members, and we do a lot of cultural training, so we're trying to, you know, make a bridge between international and local community. And David, who is our sponsor, in his previous life, when he was with the City Hall, BJ Moyars, who's sitting in the back, my business partner, we worked with Kokomo in the past for building sister city relationship with Dongyang, China. So we've done delegation trips. And this time it's about Korea, so I'm very excited to be back again in Kokomo. And when I'm just having fun in the town of Battleground, I serve as a reserve deputy. There's such need for language interpretation when it comes to police work, so that's how I got into it, translating for Korean nationals. So we do a lot of search warrants, a lot of human trafficking task force related in Indianapolis, and so yeah, I do many different things. So like I said, it's part of the series. You guys are here for the second one where we're gonna be talking about culture and norms, and it will happen again in June where we talk about food and beverage. July and August we'll tie it all together, and hopefully you'll continue to join us throughout the series so you can kind of practice what you know in August when we have like a mock Korean networking event where you get to practice, which will be a fun event. Okay, so today we're gonna be talking about what a typical daily life looks like in Korea when they go to work, when they are at home, plus what do they do for fun during the weekends, and how Koreans build relationships and how do they socialize. And we can go through typical major holidays and celebrations. So, daily life. When it comes to Korea, it's a very small country. It's size of state of Indiana, but we have like 50 million people living in, like basically on top of each other. So you see a lot of apartments. So most Koreans live in apartments. So when they think of America, like having a backyard where your dogs can run around, it's like a dream because it's so hard to have land in Korea. So you'll see like just forest of apartments after apartments like so. And lots of cars too, traffic. So I try to think of what are some unique things that you can see at Korean households that you don't in America. I thought about rice cooker, it's essential. How many of you guys actually use electronic rice cookers? Okay, welcome friends, okay. So we're good. And another thing is foldable tables. So Koreans like to sit on the floor. We have very special relationship with our floors because we traditionally have heated floors. So you see moms or grandmas always like wiping the floor because it's gonna be on your barefoot socks or indoor slippers. So a lot of older generation, when they have meals, that means like all the families gather around. So instead of having a huge dining table, you have a foldable table where it's seated on the floor, cross-legged. Any of you find it physically impossible to sit on the floor and eat? Yeah? Yeah, it's challenging for a lot of folks in Korea as well. Another thing is kimchi refrigerator. So kimchi it's a common dish in Korea. It's like essential in Koreans' lives. And we have a designated kimchi refrigerator next to your normal refrigerator. But nowadays, one of those like a chest-looking refrigerators now, they actually have a designated space for kimchi where you can manipulate the perfect temperature for kimchi to last longer. So, yeah, those are a couple unique things that I thought of. Okay, like I said, we like to take our shoes off. This is a screenshot from a movie, Parasite. Have you guys watched Parasite? The weird Korean movie that went viral? Yeah. So we do like to sit on the floor, and we have a little entrance area. When you open the door, that's where you take off your shoes, and then you move on without your shoes. Is it weird? Do you guys wear your shoes at home? How many of you guys take off your shoes? Really? When did America change? Seriously? Okay, a lot of you guys. So I did a training for hospitality, your frontline workers in hospitality industry in Kokomo last week, and I gave like a little tip. If your budget allows, maybe offer slippers in hotel rooms, because that's something I struggle when I travel. I always want to bring like a flip-flop because it's just so weird to keep my shoes on inside. So a little tip there. So yeah, so we just wear slippers inside the buildings throughout our lives. So this is what we wear, kind of things we wear for like kindergarten, elementary school. This is what we wear for middle school, high school. It doesn't have to be those specific brands, but those are the common kinds that you'll see if you were to go to Korea, schools in Korea right now. And indoor slippers, very common. At work, so standard working hours is very similar than to here, 9 to 6-ish. And because Korea is relationship-oriented culture, we like to have meetings in person. When I was talking to Samsung SDI folks here, they noticed how Americans prefer to have Zoom meeting even though they work in the same building. It's just convenient, right? You might be, having lunch on your desk, or you might be doing other things when you're having Zoom meeting. So they've noticed it right away how Americans don't like to, they prefer to have Zoom meetings. And that made me think, I think it's because when we work at like a big company especially, we work with coworkers that are in different time zones. So there are many times we have to do Zoom because we cannot physically be here. But in Korea, such a small company, they like to see you and have that face-to-face time to build relationship. At work, you see a lot of coworkers going out for lunch together. It's like extension of your work hours, I guess. But in America, it's just so common to eat while you work, kind of thing, so you can get out early. But in Korea, because we have so many nearby restaurants and we have convenience stores that you can buy food from right outside the door, it's so common for coworkers to eat together. Like we have a tendency to think that if someone's eating by themselves, we think like that person has no friends. But we know it's not the case. You will see Koreans eating themselves because it's convenient. They just want to get through the lunch fast and move on. But that is the tendency. So you might see a lot of like Korean workers here. They're gonna like go to a restaurant all together and wanna sit at the same table because we have that group mindset. Team dinners. This is very distinct to our culture where do you guys watch Korean dramas on Netflix? Some of you guys? You see this a lot. So after the workday is over, the manager will take group of employees out for food, usually Korean barbecue, food, drinks, and or karaoke. We talked about karaoke in April, how it's so common and it's like what Koreans just do. I thought about it because we live in high-rise apartments. We try to keep it quiet, right? Because there are neighbors all around. So we have to even stay quiet at home. So all that built-in stress is released at karaoke, where you can just scream your lungs out and just be yourself. I think that's why karaoke is such a huge part of Korean life. Is it okay? Okay. All right, restaurants. So there's so many little restaurants, and we have so many different restaurants too. We have a lot of American foods, Thai food, Indian food, Japanese food, Chinese food, you name it. You'll see so many diverse restaurants. And great thing is that they open super late. There's some restaurants that open 24/7. Those are meant for like taxi drivers or like late night workers. So you will find yourself an opened restaurant when you feel hungry at 11 p.m. and you just gotta have Korean barbecue. You will have a place, which is amazing. So, yeah. So because we like to take our shoes off, I've been told that since COVID, a lot of tables set up like this is changing to a table setup. But if you go to small cities and find restaurants, you might see restaurants like this where you have to take off your shoes and then sit on the table, and you will see like a little placemat for you so your butt doesn't hurt for a long period of time. So yeah, we're turning into a lot of tables and chairs, but you might find this. Even Korean restaurants in America, you might find restaurants with this setup. So I just recommend you make sure to have clean socks if you go to restaurants where you have to take off your shoes. Or make sure it's pedicured and whatever. So Korea, your fast food chains have gone everywhere, including Korea. So what's interesting in Korea is that they have Koreanized all of these fast food chains. So you see, do we see this kind of burger in US? It says truffle-rich potato burger. Yeah, so very creative. And this is Burger King. It's a shrimp Whopper. Because in Korea, we're surrounded by the ocean. Seafood is everywhere. Yeah, I would love to try shrimp Whopper. And Domino's, when you go to Korea and order pizza, you just miss your, bacon cheeseburger pizza and go to Domino's. You'll find something very different. We have a smaller size pizza, but more toppings. We do fruits and seafood and sweet potato, it's a thing, and potato, so that's carbs with carbs, can you imagine that? So, and Subway, it's doing really well in Korea because you can like get it quick and go. So yeah, if you go to Korea and you can't find any authentic Korean food that you like, you have an option. You can go to these places and feel like you're home, almost. Coffee shops. So during this research, I found that Korea is the largest consumer of coffee in Asia. I think it has to do with like, we just drink coffee to work harder, study harder, and make our economy rolling. So these coffee shops also open late, till 10 p.m., 11 p.m. So traditionally in Korea, young adults, they still live with their parents until they get married. So they need a place to go on dates. So these are served as like dating spot for young adults. And you can go study. I tell people when Americans are going to visit Korea, if you need Wi-Fi, coffee shops definitely have Wi-Fi, tables where you can work and study for a long period of time, and desserts. So Korean restaurants, let's say you go to Applebee's here, you do appetizer, meal, and dessert, right? There's a dessert menu. In Korea, when you go to Korean restaurants, it's usually they serve whole, like main dishes. We don't have a concept of separate dessert menu at restaurants. So these are served as your second round after having meals with your friends, that you go for coffee and dessert. So you will see a lot of coffee shops in Korea, and so many different brands, but Starbucks is there. So if you miss home, Starbucks will be there for you. Let's talk about convenience stores. So it's more convenient than American convenience stores. It's a small country, right? But we have 40,000 convenience stores, probably every block that you can go to, and we have more brands than just 7-Eleven. And these places usually open 24/7, and they have, you name it, they've got it. They have dry snacks, readily available food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and other essentials you can think of. What's unique about Korean convenience store is that they have microwave, and they sell microwavable foods that you can just use it, and they usually have like a spot where you can sit and eat. Almost all convenience stores have that. So it is super convenient, and ATMs, and they also sell SIM cards. If you ever need SIM cards in South Korea, they've got it. And here's a little video that can show you better.
Hey guys, it's Katie. If you're new here, I currently live in Korea, so I thought I would bring you guys with me to a Korean convenience store, because whenever I post about it, I get so many questions, so I thought I would share with you guys what it's like. So there's convenience stores at almost every corner in Seoul, and as the name implies, convenience stores are all about convenience. So depending on the size of the convenience store, there's more or less selection. So they usually have snacks, instant food. There's also a refrigerated section where you can usually find pre-made foods and fresh produce, like eggs or fruits. You can also find things for your pantry, such as condiments and sauces. I think what's actually unique about Korea is there's usually places for you to eat inside the convenience store. There's hot water for your ramen and microwaves for you to use. There's also garbages for you to dispose of your food. And I think that's what's different from other countries, because when I went to Japan, you actually cannot eat inside the convenience store. They also usually carry drinks, hard liquor, drinking snacks, ice cream, you name it. What's interesting is that they also usually carry everyday and household items. You can even find feminine products and simple medication, and they're usually open 24 hours.
What do you guys think? Oh, they also sell alcohol, which is different from here. Yes. So let's talk about transportation. So because it's a small country, everybody uses transportation, and everybody walks, everybody takes transportation. We have this transportation card that you can use it for subway, train, taxi, and bus. So it's very well managed. And on the subways and buses, there's like a designated place where elderly, pregnant women, or people with disability are placed. And just like here in America, where I think trains and subways are built that way too. But in Korea, you will see like a pink. It'll be painted pink for pregnant women, which is kind of nice. And I wanted to talk about personal space. This is probably, so people are wearing masks, so this is even after COVID. Come on. So COVID definitely helped people to be mindful of their spaces, but pre-COVID, because it's such a small country and everybody has to get into the subway station to get to work, it's very tight. And because it's like daily life that we're so compact, people don't really apologize for it. Because if you start apologizing to one, you have to apologize to 30 people around you. So it's one of the things that foreigners visiting Korea noticed, that like this person like walked past me and like hit my shoulder and didn't apologize, and I thought that was rude. And like, okay, so we do have, it is a problem. We need to work on that, but we live in this mindset that like you're just gonna bump into each other. So it's something we need to work on, and COVID definitely helped having that spaces between people, so hopefully we'll do better here. Here's a little video about the subway.
Things in Korean subway that just makes sense. You know when your phone is at 2% and then it gives you like mega anxiety? Well, you don't have to worry anymore because there's chargers everywhere. And look at this, it's a bike pull-away ramp just to help get your bike up the stairs with ease. So smart. And there's vending machines everywhere. What you want? You're hungry, you're thirsty, you need some gum, you need a condom, whatever, they got it. And because there's so many people on the subway, everything is so super organized. There's signs that tell you where to walk, where to stand, and guess what? People actually listen here. There's even designated seats for those that are pregnant, elderly, with kids, disabled. People will always get up if you need it. So sweet. I get many stomachs whenever I travel, but just knowing that there are free restrooms at every single station. My anxiety. Okay, these freak me out a little bit because it reminded me that I am underground, and if something happens, I'll be trapped. But at least they provide us with a mask. How does the subway system in your city compared to Korea?
So I think it's gonna be one thing that Koreans might be frustrated coming to Midwest, where you don't see subways, you don't see trains for people, you don't see, I mean, jet buses, but they're just gonna have to accept that we're gonna have to drive here. So it's a huge cultural difference they kind of have to accept when they move here. So I thought of a couple of touristic attractions where even Koreans go to over the weekends or for special occasions, especially when they have friends over from overseas. These are the spots that we would like to take them to. So this is a royal palace that's remained, save it in the middle of capital city where it used to be. We try to, it was destroyed from Japanese invasion at some point, but we try to rebuild it and restore it, and as a reminder that this is where our previous kings used to live and serve the city. So you see, this is a little entrance, and something interesting is there's like a rental place for Korean traditional clothing in front of this place, and when you wear those, which does cost money, when you wear those, it's free to enter, because we're trying to encourage people to wear traditional clothes in here for the full experience. So it's something fun to do when you guys visit Korea. And they light up at night, so it looks really beautiful. And another thing, Bukchon Hanok Village. So Hanok is what we call this distinct, the tiled roof style, which is very unique to Korea. And this is actual neighborhood where people live. But they have certain areas that operate as like cultural, like a museum type, and they serve as cafes, restaurants, and some of them are Airbnbs, so you can actually go and sleep for the night. It's so unique that we have tiled roof, and these are wooden doors and windows, how traditional Korean houses were built. And of course, you take off your shoes there and climb up there. So it could be a fun experience. Another thing is, it's pronounced Lotte World. It's, as you can see, it's very Disney World-like. So it's a huge amusement park that's indoor and both outdoor. And they're theaters, they're gym facilities, there are hotels, galleries, and restaurants. It's a whole thing. And we have this Lotte Tower, which is the tallest building in Korea now. And it's taller than Sears Tower in Chicago. So it's 123 stories. And you can actually take the elevator up and view the whole city. It's amazing, observation tower there. And something outside of Seoul, so we have a lot of Buddhist temples that still serve as temples for people to come and pray. But there are just so many of them, you can just find it in pretty much every city that you may visit. So, and this place is known for having this stone statue of Buddha. It's really magnificent, and it's listed as UNESCO World Heritage Site. Let's talk about how Koreans build relationships. So, we like to ask questions about our each other's age. In the previous training, we talked about how Koreans have two different levels or different levels of language. We have formal version and informal version. So once I figure out how old you are you older than me or younger than me, then I'm gonna figure out which version of the language I'm gonna use. So it's so common when Koreans meet to ask their age. And what's unique about that is we often ask your birth year. I think it's because we are used to the zodiac signs, the animal zodiac signs that are off of the birth year. We just know it by birth year. Have you guys asked your friend, what is your birth year ever? Right? Yeah. And we like to know your hometown, your school, whether you're married or not, whether you have children, and sometimes parents' occupations. We're trying to find the common ground so I can relate to you better. So these questions are very nosy, right? Can you imagine asking this questions to people that you just met? But we do, and we don't find it nosy or too aggressive. It's very common to openly talk about this. And even blood type. So weird, right? So it came from, I don't know how it started, but we have a tendency to believe that blood types are related to personality traits. Is this totally new to you guys? So I grew up like asking my friends. I totally know like my friends' blood types. I go, if my friend that's blood type A does something, I go, you're so A. That's why you're behaving this way. So it's so common right now. And it has grown into zodiac signs, and it has grown into so let's talk about blood type. So do you guys know your blood types? Okay, who's type A? Okay, keep your hands up. You guys are creative, cooperative, stubborn, and uptight. You guys agree with that? Okay, how about type B? I am type B. Just okay. So we are empathetic, passionate, selfish, and erratic. Yeah? Yeah, Courtney? Yeah? Who's type AB? Don't be ashamed of your blood type. Okay. Okay, we've got rational, adaptable, indecisive, and critical. Would you agree? How about type O? Ooh, even there. Okay, you guys are confident, resilient, self-centered, and unstable. You guys have unstable mayor. That's so interesting.
But he's confident.
Yeah. Most of you guys are, yeah. So we would divide people into 4 different groups. Isn't that interesting? But since COVID, we've moved on to MBTI because we had more time on our hands. So it's so crazy. When you go to Korea, people might ask you, do you know your MBTI? It's so crazy. So have you guys done this for fun or for school? Yeah, you're used to it. So from 4 blood types, we're now looking at 16 different personality traits, which is a level up, I would think. So people ask these questions in Korea now. I think they're trying to figure out you better. Like, let's say Missy and I met for the first time in Korea, and I would ask you would ask me my MBTI, and I said I am IFNP. And you would know, oh, you're an introvert, that's why you're home all the time. Like, we're trying to utilize these tools to understand each other better, which is so weird, but it's kind of fun. So, I'm glad we went through this. Okay. So, another way to socialize and build relationship in Korea is eating and dining together. So, please note, this is going digital way since COVID. So, but then we have we have that sharing concept when it comes to food too. So you guys heard about Korean food with side dishes, right? So these are everyone to share, right? And these are too. And when someone orders like a big stew or big pot of something, we all share and we put spoons in the one pot and we use to share. But since COVID, we are getting away from this culture by having individual little bowl and serve themselves and not try to stick everyone's spoon in one pot. But still at homes, in Korean households, this is very common. So just wanted you to be aware. Singing together. It's another, bonding activity that I told you about. It's just, whether you're a good singer or not, it doesn't matter. It's about like being together, like screaming your heart out and just enjoying that moment. And some karaoke places as you can see, you can drink, you can eat, and it's a whole thing. The whole family can enjoy it themselves. So it's not weird at all for us. Let's talk about weekends. So, public bath. Are you guys like, what is this culture? Have you guys been to Korean public spa in New York, Jersey, Texas? No. But you guys are used to sauna, right? Right. So it's very common in Germany and Northern Europe, whatever. But this is a very common thing. It was more common before COVID. This is where you go and enjoy different hot and cold spa pools together, gender separated, of course. And there's some relaxing saunas. There's like salt room. There's some other rooms with like beads where you can just play with, and it's a whole thing. It's like a playground for adults where you get to relax and actually enjoy with families and friends. There's some massage areas and there's sleeping rooms as well. So a lot of foreigners that visit Korea and they just need one night to kill, they just go to Jimjilbang and spend the night, and it's totally okay, totally common. So, and they're open 24/7. So, I'm gonna play you a video. It's in Katy, Texas. They opened up this Korean spa. Maybe I need to plan on bringing Korean spa in Kokomo, maybe. So, they just opened this up and they're explaining to the local reporter, and she's having a lot of fun. Let's watch this.
naturally. I'm gonna have the smoothest back cast ever. It's the Himalayan salt room. Yeah, I've heard about this one.
Yes, and it's called that because you can see how thick the Himalayan salt on the wall.
Yes, those are not, I thought it was bricks. That's not bricks.
This is great for the health properties it delivers. It helps reduce toxins from your body, and it helps disinfect and stimulate cellular repair.
So these are clay beads that help with massage and pressure points. And they're warm too. It's really good for snow angels. So this area on it is great for people to just relax and rest.
Correct. So we have individual sleeping pods over here. The floor is heated.
And speaking of heat, this is the fire dome. How hot is it in there?
That goes up to 200 degrees Fahrenheit and is running on burning wood.
Wow, okay, that's hot.
Yeah, that's hot. Yeah. But we believe that switching from cool and cold is really helping your blood circulation. So it's something Koreans enjoy. If we have one in Kokomo, would you guys visit? Yeah? Okay. Very shy hands up. Okay. Another thing Koreans like to do is hiking and camping. Because our whole land is just surrounded by mountains, you can easily find mountains everywhere you turn. So what's unique, it's becoming a thing where you buy those like hiking gear from a department store, and it's usually very colorful like so. And it's just so comfortable. You see a lot of people in hiking gears a lot in Korea. So it's something very unique. Yeah, this is taken from a subway. They're all dressed up to go to mountains. Another thing, so I've told you guys that because our country is surrounded by ocean, what do you guys think we like to do for fun? Beach? Fishing, swimming, yeah. So I hope this is before COVID, but yeah, you see a lot of summer water sports happening in Korea, and a lot of sightseeing. People go to those ocean sites to see sunset and sunrise. It's like a whole thing. You'll see lodgings and restaurants, and people go out. I mean, if you drive like 2 hours east or west from Seoul, you'll see ocean. So people just take that break and just go and have seafood and see some whales and whatnot and come back home. So another unique thing is at parks and playgrounds, you see a lot of gym equipment where you can just hop on and use it for how many long and just move on with your day. So yeah, look at this lady just working out, doesn't care. Yeah, it's usually, you would think it's usually used by old folks, but it's age, doesn't matter. Like even little kids go to playgrounds and get on those and like try push-ups and come out, and like it's a really fun thing. And I think China is this way too, I think. And sports, oh boy, do we love sports. So we have many different baseball, soccer teams that are professional, and we have some baseball players that were recruited to American pro baseball teams as well. And this is a picture taken from 2002 when Korea hosted the World Cup. Holy cow, you couldn't be in Korea at that time because like everybody came out to the street, and every single one of these are humans. Can you believe that? All dressed up in red, which was the color of our national soccer team, and soccer is huge. So you go to elementary school and people play soccer. Like everybody plays soccer. It's a thing. It doesn't require much. You just need a soccer ball and more than one person. So yeah, it's very common. Taekwondo, our martial arts, when you go to Korea, it's common to see little kids wearing that martial arts, a uniform in white and colorful belts, depending on their level. And golf is huge. I've been told that even our airport in Incheon has a small golf court. Yeah, because you just gotta play golf when you're waiting for your plane, so it's huge. And here's to give you an idea of baseball. I mean, we do have cool baseball fields here, right? Just imagine that with a bunch of Korean people.
Oi!
Baseball is Korea's most popular sport. So popular, they even have some players in the MLB. Like this guy, and this guy. The energy here is crazy. They have chants for every single player, and the whole audience joins along as well. And of course, let's not forget about the cheerleaders.
There's a theme song for every baseball player.
You come to enough games, you know, like, when this player comes up, if the song plays, you're like, oh,
Even if you don't see the scoreboard.
If you're like me, you're always hungry. Don't worry, Korea's got you covered. They have the classical hot dogs, chicken in a box, chicken with chopsticks, chicken in his mouth, chicken in a box with hot sauce, chicken in a bowl on top of a beer cup. They got chicken everywhere. They love chicken. Don't even let me get started with squid.
You never expect to see like squid at a baseball game, never.
They got fried squid, squid over here, squid over there, squid in a cup, and why not? Squid on a stick.
Welcome to Korean baseball, Dave. Daddy eats squid on a stick. Oh man, just put it in. Oh dude, Korean baseball, squid on a stick, mayonnaise, we got soy sauce.
Don't forget about the food.
Yeah, they got soju here, they got beer.
Well, of course, they got soju on the rocks and a booty load of beer.
Oh, let's get that.
And yeah, at this point, just have fun. So the next time you're in Korea, do yourself a favor and treat yourself to a Korean baseball game. Trust me, you won't regret it.
Cheers.
What do you guys think? We like to have fun, don't we? You see a lot of people screaming because we just need to blow off that steam that we can do at home, right? Another thing, I don't know if COVID killed it or not, but when you enter those stadiums, people give you like the plastic bag of a color that matches with the baseball team that you're cheering for. So what you do is you open it up, blow it up, twist it, and you put it on your head. So the two handles go over your ears, right? So you have a little thing, like a weird angel, and everybody wears it, right? And it's just to show that I'm cheering for this team for the game. And at the end of the game, you take it off and put your trash in.
Oh,
Yes. So let's implement that here, Kokomo. Yeah, maybe. So we'll finish it up with talking about holidays and celebrations. We celebrate Korean New Year, very similar to Chinese New Year. We follow the lunar New Year calendar. So it could be in January, it could fall into February, it just depends on the calendar for that year. So traditionally, like way back, people dress up in hanbok, which is our traditional dress that I told you about, and then we do a deep bow to the older family members, and we wish them health and good luck for the new year. And in return, they may give you like a, like $5 bills, $10 bills and whatnot, and we usually go like this, hello, like a hand envelope. I'm ready to accept. And we eat this rice cake soup. I can show you right here. So rice cake soup, you can easily order it in Korean restaurants, but we usually eat this for the new year. It just resembles like peace and long health of the new year. And yeah, these are the traditional dress that we talked about. They're more modernized look of this dress in Korea when you visit, but we still wear the traditional ones on special occasions. When you go to like Korean weddings and whatnot, you would see people wearing those. And Korean Thanksgiving called Chuseok, so it could be in September or October. It also depends on the lunar calendar for the year, and we perform this memorial rite to pay respect to not only to immediate family members that have passed away, but for ancestors that you haven't met. We like to pay respect to generations that came before us, and we show gratitude for a full harvest. So we eat a lot of fall harvest foods like Korean pear that you might have seen. It's like a full round, it's like way bigger than apple, persimmon and dates and all that good stuff. And it's another reason to be together and eat a lot of food. So we eat this rice cake, which is songpyeon. So it's a fun activity for the whole family, even kids, to make as well. And this is the table we set up to show respect for our ancestors. So we do a deep bow towards that table. And those are like the wall of names of your old ancestors and whatnot, your family name. So yeah, so unique thing about Korean birthdays is we eat seafood soup. Have you guys had seafood? Seaweed? Yeah? Okay, so we're not strange to this. So this came from, so seaweed is full of nutrients that are so good for mothers that just gave birth. So it helps during the lactation period and it helps with their recovery. So that became a thing for birthdays that even to this day, we always have seaweed soup. And moms usually say like, I gave you birth on this day, so you make me seaweed soup. So as a joke, but we still have this tradition. So it's not really sold at Korean restaurants, but you would see this at convenience stores. It'll be like in a plastic thing where you just pour hot water. It'll be like ready to eat. So in summary, we very briefly took a look at what typical life looks like in Korea. We talked about what people like to do for fun, or too much fun for some cases, and how people build relationships and socialize. We took a look at holidays and weekend activities and whatnot. So hopefully this gave you like a deeper understanding of how Koreans think and whatnot. And when we meet again in June, hopefully most of you will plan on coming back again. We'll talk about food and beverage. As you saw from the videos, food is such a big part of our culture that I'm gonna have a lot to show and share. So if you guys are willing, I'm gonna bring some chopsticks for y'all to try. Maybe I'll set it out before lunch and have people use chopsticks for lunch. And you can use chopsticks for anything. Like open up a bag of chips and try to eat that with chopsticks. No things on your fingers, so it's great. So we'll do that. We'll try to make it fun. So With that, I'll open up for questions. For Courtney. Oh, yes.
I just comment, I work at the public library, and we have a memoir called Crying in H Mart, which is touched on about everything she said here today is in that memoir, and it's a really great read. So if you want to learn more, why they do some things, and all the food you talked about is in it, so it's a really good read.
Yeah, I'm
Say it
actually.
one more time, the name of the word?
Crying in H Mart.
Yes, sir.
So you talked a lot about like public transportation and how everyone uses that. Do people have cars at home still, or is that something that they skip out on purchasing just to, because there's not much?
Are you from car dealership?
I'm not.
No, okay. Okay. People still own cars. It's like a big purchase that people consider because it's just convenient to get around. So a lot of people, as you saw in the apartment slide, a lot of people still do drive, but probably during the weekdays, they're gonna use public transportation. Any other questions? Oh,
I just want to kind of go off what he said. So how do they come over here and kind of learn how to drive? When they come over here?
Oh.
And I'm an insurance agent, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious, if they're not driving much over there, and they
Gotcha.
come over here to the culture shops that they have to drive, how does that work? for them?
So maybe after college, when people start to have jobs and whatnot, then that's when people start to start thinking about getting a permit to drive. So you don't see Korean high school students wanting to drive because it's just out of their mind, and plus they don't need to. So a lot of guys already know how to drive by the time they graduate from college, but ladies that are married early in their age, like right off of college, they tend not to drive by choice. But yeah, it's gonna be something they're gonna have to learn to drive on big roads, because in Korea, everything's so tight. They have to learn how to maneuver small parking spaces, but yeah, it's gonna be a learning curve. Yes,
Back to the age and birth year thing.
Yeah.
Young year ones are children considered one the day that they're born in Korea?
yes, traditionally, but we got rid of that.
Okay.
So there was a CNN article earlier this year or something that Koreans are getting 1 year younger because we're trying to get rid of that. But it is right. So let's say traditionally, a baby was born on December 31st, was 1 when the baby was born. But the next day, when the new year starts, the baby's already 2. Can you imagine that? And he's like 2 days old, right? But yeah, I think because of that confusion, we're trying to get rid of that. And we used to ask, what's your Korean age? What's your American age? But none of that, we're gonna unify. Yes.
If we were going to have, like karaoke events and try to give them something, like, is this music kind of cross-culturally go? Like, do they know American music? Or?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, it's pop culture. American pop is so popular in Korea, and even karaoke machines in Korea, they have a ton of American songs. So it will be, yeah, you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, we know Bruno Mars, Rihanna, we know everybody. Yeah. Yes.
And you had mentioned they have separate storage in their refrigerators for kimchi. How do they? How is that a part of the meal for the day? Like, how is kimchi? Do they eat it at every meal, or how is it incorporated?
I could eat it every meal. And kimchi, so we eat it like the usual cabbage or radish or cucumber version. It can be served with every meal, but kimchi can be served in different forms. We have it in pancakes, we have it in stew, we have it in sometimes pizza, hamburger, like you name it. We try to mix it with everything we eat. Yes, Misty?
When you had the picture of the beach, it made me wonder, is the weather here similar?
Very similar. Yeah, it's hot and it's gonna be snowy. Yeah,
Is that would be much
4
changed?
seasons. Yeah, yeah. But I don't know if they're gonna be used to like snow in April, cause that actually doesn't happen in Korea. So, something we might have to warn those folks.
So do they not have the same turbulence we have? Because it'll be spring one day, summer, then winter, then spring.
Yeah, that's, yeah,
It's a weird Indiana thing.
yes,
Great.
yes. We're gonna have to warn people. Any other questions? Okay, very good. Well, thank you guys for listening in. Hopefully we'll see you.